listen, graphing a piecewise function. Piece, it's in pieces. I don't know where the wise comes from, to be quite honest with you. Well, I'm not going to worry about it. All right, and we're going to use something called tables, like XY charts. There's a very specific way to graph these. It's not hard, but it's just going to be new, I think, for you guys. So let me start out, and you guys write it with me, a piecewise function. So this is y equals f of x, g of x, h of x, you know what that means. And we are going to have pieces of graphs. So go ahead and write this down. Stay with me so you don't fall behind and miss something. Okay, this is what a piecewise function looks like. If I look ahead to the homework, page 45, 1 through 4, you can see there's 4 of them right there, okay? Oops, sorry, you can't see anything. So those are, they're really easy to tell what they are. They look different. And it's pieces of graphs. So what we have here is we have a line, slope-intercept, right? X to the first power, we know this is a line, but only on part of the graph, at 1 and all the numbers less than 1, okay? And we have another line that starts at 1 and goes greater than 1, okay? So the way we do this is make tables. We're going to make a table for each of these. It's really, really simple. You don't even have to remember slope-intercept form. You just have to plug numbers in. Okay? So I'm going to make a table of values for each piece of the graph. Okay? So I'm getting really I'm making sure you really know where I'm plugging in. I'm plugging into x minus 3 for this one and 2x for this one, right? You don't have to put that part in red if you don't want to. I'm just being really, really careful. You guys know what's going on. And here's how you know what numbers to pick. If I told you to graph a line when I didn't give any of that, if I said graph the line y equals x minus 3, you could make a table of values and use any x values you want. You can, okay? Or you might use slope-intercept form like we've done in here already, where you pull out the slope and the y-intercept and you graph it. But we don't want the whole line. We only want a portion of the line. So the way we know how to make our XY chart is we pick whatever number is in this area. It starts with 1. That's the first number I'm going to use in my XY chart. And I want numbers less than or equal to 1. Well, I've got the 1. Pick a few numbers that are less than 1. 2 more, like 0 and -1. Could you have picked other numbers? Could you have picked -7 and -25? Sure, they're less than 1. But why would you want to make a graph that complicated? So I picked numbers in this. Also, I want you guys to notice that it says less than or equal to at 1. I'm going to put a colored in circle at 1, and that's going to remind me when I graph this that when I go to put that point on the graph, it's going to be a colored in circle, solid. So I'll go back over that, but I'm just giving you the directions right now. And how do you think we're going to find the y values, my darlings? What are we going to do? Plug in, right? We're going to plug 1 in right here, right? 1 minus 3 is -2. 0 minus 3, -3. -1 minus 3, -4. Okay? Now we're moved to the second piece of our piecewise. Just like we did in the other one, I'm going to start out with whatever number is right here. So with 2x, they're starting with 1. And we want numbers greater than 1. All x is greater than 1. So let's just pick maybe 2 and 3. Could you pick any other values? Sure, pick whatever you want. But I always just pick numbers really close to it. It just makes it easier, right? Smaller graph, we don't have to go as far, okay? And see how this one is just greater than? It doesn't have the line under it. That's going to be an open circle at 1. Okay, and I'll keep going over this, and I'll go back to what that means when we graph it here in a moment. How do we find the y values? We plug right into the 2x. So 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, and 2 times 3 is 6. Good so far? Easy, right? No big deal. Let's now just sketch the graph. So I kind of look and see what I need. I'm going to be definitely in quadrant 1, like positive x's, positive y's. And I'm going to use a little bit of quadrant 3. So sometimes I might change how my graph looks to save space if I know I'm going to have all the points like in one quadrant, but this is kind of all over the place. All right, so So let's graph these 3 points. These are just ordered pairs, right? So I'm going to go to the right one, down 2, and there's a point there colored in. It's going to remind me to make it a colored in circle. That's why I put it there. Otherwise, I'm erasing and whiting out. Then 0, -3 would be here. And then -1, -4 would be here. And understand, the points would keep going this way, right? We're continuing to go less than that. So we want just to put an arrow going in that direction. That took care of that piece. And again, how did I know which way the arrow is going? Well, I'm going to the numbers that are less than. It's kind of like the order I just graphed them in. I was going to the left, so my arrow is going to keep going to the left and down. Okay? Now, I'll use a different color just so you guys can see. I'll do this one in green. So I'm going to be at 1, 2, and look, open circle. To the right one, up 2, I'm going to have an open circle. Child or tornado? It's here a little early. It's a very on-time hurricane. The right 2, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 6. Okay, guys, back to me, back to me. Look, and then connecting them, arrow on that. That's it. That's your piecewise function. Shh. Oh, there y'all go. Okay. All right, good? Everybody okay? I just had a question. Robbie, I think... Does somebody want to share what's going on at least? What's going on? Is it a watch or a warning? Okay. Come on. Y'all are Floridians. None of you are scared. You're good. Okay. Right now, we don't have to worry about it. So, guys, listen. I have a student that just transferred from Colorado on Friday, and she's like, why isn't anybody freaking out? I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. You're not from Florida. I go, none of the students are freaking out at all about the hurricane. All they are worried about is what days off of school they get. That's all that they're talking about. And she's like, should I be worried? I'm like, I mean, maybe you should be, but really shouldn't be. You're going to be fine. Okay, so guys, listen. Shh, back, quiet, quiet, quiet. Come on, guys. We can handle disruption and come back. The question was, why is one of them closed, one of them open? Okay, it's all about, if you see an equal to symbol underneath something, it's closed in. It means it's part of the answer. It's included, okay? And if you don't see a equal to sign under it, it's open. It's just on the very first number. That's why I put a closed in circle here and an open circle here. The rest of them are closed in always. Okay, does that make sense, Robbie? Okay. Other questions before we do another one? All right, guys, this is a harder one. Here we go. Shh. You should be writing. Is it just some phones are delayed, like different timing on it?
I got two.
Oh, okay. Okay, guys, take a second and write this down. You should be writing this problem down. We're only doing this example, and then we're going to go right to the homework. But this one's a little bit harder. It's got 3 in it. And if you look at your middle equation, there's not even a letter. And if that comma confuses you, I don't know why I put that comma there. It's fine if you do, fine if you don't. How many XY charts are we going to make for this one? 3. Yeah, 3. And we're just going to use 3 X's for each of them. Okay? And just know this is the first one, the second one, the third one, 2, 3, or you could write above it like I did on the last one. Okay, so remember how to start the XY chart. You look at what this is called a restriction on the domain. Like a lot of our domains and all of the graphs we've been doing has been all real numbers, right? You can use any X value. It goes all the way to the left, all the way to the right. This is restricting it, making it not all real numbers. Our X, our domain, can only be less than -2. So I'm going to have -2 and then some numbers that are less than -2. Be careful on the number line going to the left, -3, -4. Robbie, open or close circle on this -2? Yeah, open. And this is just really helpful when you get to the graph. When you're looking at the points that you're going to plug in, you don't have to go back to this. You just know exactly what it's going to look like by writing it right there. Okay? And let's plug it in. If I put 1/2 times -2 in my calculator, and guys, 1/2, let's use 0.5. It's easier. Okay? You can use 0.5 on your calculator. 0.5 times -2 is -1. 0.5 times -3 is -1.5. You could change it to a fraction if you want, but a decimal is just fine. And, oh, I forgot to subtract 2. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Back up. 0.5 times -1. Okay? That gives me that negative 0.5 times -2. That's where I got the -1. But don't forget, we have to subtract 2. I left that part off. -2 is -3. Sorry about that. 0.5 times -3. That's where I got the -1.5. And then subtract 2. That's -3.5. Sorry. Thanks. You're sweet. And then the last one, 0.5 times -4 minus 2 would give us -4. Okay? All right. Now, guys, look. This is y equals 3. Y equals 3. What kind of line is that? Anybody? Horizontal line at 3. But look at this notation here. We are wanting to go from -2 to 2. There's 2 of our numbers, -2 to 2. Let's pick a number in between so we have 3 of them, like 0 or 1. It doesn't matter. -1, as long as it's in between. But see how this one has endpoints for our x's? We use both of those. Both of them have an equal to sign after them, by them, so we're going to be closed in circles there. And guys, if it's a horizontal line, the y values are just 3 the whole time. There's no x to plug into. Your y value, y is 3 for all numbers. And lastly, what are we going to start with in this column? What are we going to start with? What number? 2. And we want numbers greater than 2, so I'm just going to use 3 and 4. Pick what you'd like. Open circle on the 2, because it doesn't have an equal to sign. So, just typing right in my calculator, 7 minus 2 times 2. 3. 7 minus 2 times 3 is 1, and so on. 7 minus 2 times 4, and we get -1. Okay. That's the hardest part, right? Plugging and chugging, and it's not even that hard, really. It just takes a little getting used to. Now we just plot points. So I'm going to make my graph, my XY chart, coordinate plane. All right, first one, they're just ordered pairs, guys. So I'm going to do this one in red. -2, guys, hush. Left 2, down 3. I see that open circle there. I put an open circle. -3, and then 3.5, just estimate somewhere in between -3 and -4. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and a little bit more. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And they would keep going in that direction. I'll do the next one in blue. So you go to -2, +3, closed in circle. 0, 3, 2, 3. Right? This is a horizontal line at 3, but the restriction is just from -2 to 2. That's why we're only writing that like segment. It's not arrows on the ends because of the restriction here. Okay? And then I'll do the third one in green. To the right 2, up 3. Now look, everybody pay attention. There's already a point there, right? At 2, 3. That's okay. They can share the space. Who's going to dominate, the colored in circle or the open circle? Colored in. If it's already colored in and we're putting an open circle over it, that's okay. It was already colored in. That means it's included in this graph somewhere. It wasn't part of this one by itself, but it is with somebody else, so it's okay that it's colored in. And then 3, 1, and then 4, -1. And you can see it's going in that direction. So sometimes your pieces of your piecewise connect. Sometimes they don't. It just depends. And that's it. We get it? Pretty good? So I'm going to do a couple with you if you need me to, or you can just work quietly on your own, right from the homework. So remember, even though we're not using the notes part of the book, we do use the practice page, which is page 45. So go ahead and get page 45 out. If you decide that you need more graph paper, grab one. They take up a little bit of room, so don't be shy. Good? All right, guys, page 45 in your binder is where the problems are. So what we just did was notes. Put it in your binder right in front of this page. That way they're together. Yep. And guys, if you don't want to if you don't want to rewrite the problem on your graph paper, that's okay. I'm just doing it because I like to do that. But if you have this page right by, you can just look at it and just start with your XY charts, okay? If you already started writing it, fine. Maybe don't write on the next one. But really, all you would need to have is your XY charts. We good? Everybody know what we're doing, where we are? Again, you do not have to write the problem on your graph paper if you're looking at the paper, right? You don't have to write it twice. Do it together. All right. So for our first one, you look here. This is what tells you what to start in your XY chart. So since y equals -1, we start at 0, and it wants numbers less than 0. Let's just pick any two numbers that you want that are less than 0. I know that this is going to be a closed-in circle because of the equal to sign, closed in. And again, this is another horizontal line. Y equals -1 is a horizontal line at -1. But it keeps going. It's not just a segment. It just keeps going -3. So we'll have an arrow on that one. No big deal. Look at the 2x. We have a 0 to a 3. Like those are like endpoints, think of it. We need both of those. And then pick a number in between 0 and 3. Like 1 or 2. You could pick a decimal. 1 is nice. And look at this one. On the 0, we have an open circle. On the 3, closed-in circle. Right? That can happen. That's okay. And we just plug these x values in to get our y. So it's 2 times 0. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 1. And 2 times 3. And then last, I know to start with 3, and I want x's that are greater than 3. So how about 4 and 5? Open circle on the 3, because there's no equal to sign. And another horizontal line, y equals 6. Whenever that happens, your y values are just that number, just like -1 here, 6 here. And now we have everything we need to graph. I'd rather you use a lot of graph paper, my graph paper, than scrunch them up. So don't be shy about it. I want you guys to be able to feel comfortable graphing. So I use a lot of paper. Okay. So I see I'm going all the way up to 6, so I have to go kind of high on the above the y-axis. I don't need to go too far below. So I'm just kind of skewing my XY chart like this, but it really doesn't matter. Anybody have a question about where I am so far? Why I did 1, 2, 3 thing, whatever I did. We okay? All right, now we just plot points. 0, -1, that closed-in circle would be right here. -1, -1, -2, -1. Remember, this is that horizontal line, but it goes on forever in that direction. How do I know? Because it says it right here. X is less than or equal to 0. So we were at 0, and then all the numbers less than that will go that direction. Okay, that was this guy. 0, 0, open circle. That's why I put it there. Because you guys know when you plot points, your whole life, you always put a closed-in circle. That's how you plot a point. Just put a dot there. So it helps remind me that that's an open circle. Then 1, 2, to the right 1, up 2. All the ones in between are always closed in circles. And then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's a closed in circle, right? These were endpoints. It's only from 0 to 3. So there's no arrow when it's got like endpoints like that. So just from 0 to 3 on the x-axis. That's it. That one. And then we have another horizontal line at 6. We just go from 3 and then bigger. So 1, 2, 3, 6. Here it is again where we put an open circle where there's already a closed circle. That's okay. The closed-in circle always overrides it. Okay? And then 4, 6, and 5, 6, and it can keep going greater to the right. X is greater than 3. They look funny, but that's it. Yes? Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going to do another one. And then I'll put 3 and 4 up. I haven't done them yet. So again, if you don't want to write the whole problem out on your graph paper, feel free not to. Okay, I'm doing it. That's why I've not unfrozen it yet. This is great graphing review too. Like especially this next one, I always get questions about this type of what do you mean y equals x? Y equals negative x. Okay. Three pieces, 3 XY charts. So on the quiz on Wednesday, I'll be looking at your XY charts. These have to be part of your answers, okay? So starting with our first one, we always look over here to tell us what we're starting with. So we're starting with -1, and then we're going to pick a few numbers less than -1. So think of your number line, think of the x-axis, -1, -2, -3. 3 numbers is fine. You don't have to do more. Okay, an open circle, right? There's no equal to sign, so I'm going to remind myself open circle there. And I'm plugging these numbers in for x. So when you put a negative, think about it like this. It's like a negative on the outside and then a negative on the inside. What's that going to equal? 2 negatives make a So a negative in front of an x just changes the sign of it. So my -1, -2, -3 became +1, 2, 3. That's it. It's a slope of -1 over 1 and then a y-intercept of 0. There's no b value. Okay, so here's one with the endpoints. -1 and 1. They both have closed-in circles. And then pick something in between. What's a nice number in between? 0, GT, yes. But this is y equals 0. It's a horizontal line at 0, right? There's no x to plug in. Whenever that happens, your y values are just that number. Easy. Easy. And the last one, again, we always look over here to see what to start with. And there's a 1 there. And we want numbers, x's, that are greater than 1. So 2 and 3 look good to me. Open circle on that 1, right, because there's no equal to sign. And when I plug a 1 in for x, I get 1. When I plug a 2 in for x, I get 2. When I plug a 3 in for x, I get 3. And so on. Okay. Okay, graphing, -1, 1, -2, 2. Oops, oops, oops. Oh, don't like that, don't graph that. -2, 2. -3, 3. And so on. It keeps going to the left forever, right? Less than -1. It goes on and on and on. So that was that one. -1, 0. That would be right here. 0, 0 here. 1, 0 here. Notice those y values are zeros because they're x-intercepts. And it's just that little piece right there. That's a horizontal line at y equals 0. But only from -1 to 1. And then 1, 1, open circle, 2, 2, and 3, 3, and it keeps going in that direction. Easy or hard? In the middle. No one's talking to me? Are you mad at me? Okay. All right. So I'm going to just work on number 3 without talking, and I would prefer that you don't just copy me. You know what I mean? But maybe just get yourself started and then glance up here and see if you're getting it right. That way you'll know if you're getting it. Oh, this is a shorter one. Oh, 3 and 4 are shorter. Yay. try and then look up. Try and look up. Check your work.